I thought my husband's late night drives were for work, but he was visiting my cousin instead. I found the receipts and my whole world shattered. I need to say this out loud before I lose my mind completely. Before the lawyers finalize everything. Before my daughter stops answering my calls altogether. His name was Marcus. My husband's name is Daniel. We've been married for 11 years, dated for 3 before that. I'm 36 years old, and I destroyed my entire in the span of 6 weeks. It started so stupidly, so predictably. God, I could say it was dramatic or that there were signs our marriage was falling apart, but that would be a lie and I'm done lying. Daniel started these late night drives about 8 months ago. He's a software consultant, always had weird hours, always took calls at midnight from clients in different time zones. I never questioned it. Why would I? We had our routine. Our beautiful, boring stable. He'd kiss me on the forehead around 10 p.m., grab his keys, and say he needed to clear his head, or take a call in the car where it's quiet. Sometimes he'd be gone an hour. Sometimes 3. I'd usually be asleep when he got back. I never suspected anything because I was too busy suspecting. Marcus worked at the gym I joined last January. I wanted to lose the baby weight I'd been carrying since our daughter Emma was born. She's 9 now, and I'd run out of excuses. He was one of those trainers who made feel like we're the only person in the room. Attentive, funny. 28 years old with that easy confidence I'd forgotten men could have. The first time he touched my waist to correct my form during a deadlift, I felt it. That spark, that destructive spark that should have sent me running straight home. Instead, I signed for more sessions. It wasn't physical at first. That's what I told. We'd just talk. He'd ask about and I'd find complaining about things I didn't even realize bothered me. How Daniel was always distracted. How we hadn't been on a real date in months. How I felt invisible in my own home. Marcus listened, really listened. He'd text me motivation quotes in the morning, funny memes during the day. Nothing inappropriate, nothing I couldn't explain away until it was. The first time I kissed him was in his car after a late training session. I initiated it, let me be clear about that. He didn't manipulate me. I leaned across the center console and kissed him because I wanted to feel wanted again. He kissed me back. We started meeting twice a week, sometimes in his car. Once at a hotel 40 minutes from our town where I was sure no one would recognize me. I told Daniel I was doing evening workout classes. He believed me because I'd never given him a reason not to. The guilt was there from the beginning, sitting in my stomach like broken glass. But the attention was intoxicating. Marcus made me feel young, desirable, like I was more than just Emma's mom or Daniel's wife who forgot to buy milk. I justified it in 1,000 ways. Daniel was probably emotionally cheating anyway with all those late drives. We'd grown apart. This was just physical. I deserved to feel alive. All lies, all cowardice. Then 2 months ago, everything detonated in the worst way possible. I came home early from a workout because Marcus had to cancel. Daniel's car was in the driveway, which was weird for a Tuesday afternoon. I walked into our kitchen and found him sitting at the table with my cousin Jessica. My cousin who I'd grown with, who was my maid of honor, who I talked to every week. They both looked when I walked in, and the expression on Daniel's face wasn't guilt. It was exhaustion. Deep, tired sadness. "We need to talk," he said. My heart stopped. He knew. Oh God, he knew about Marcus. But that's not what he said. "Jessica has stage 3 cancer," Daniel said, his voice cracking. "She's been doing treatment for 4 months. I've been driving her to her late night chemo sessions because she didn't want to worry anyone, especially until she knew more." The room tilted. Jessica was crying silently, her head in her hands. I could see it now, how thin she'd gotten. The scarf wrapped around her head that I'd stupidly complimented last week, thinking it was a fashion choice. "All those drives," I whispered. "Every Tuesday and Thursday," Daniel said. "Sometimes Sundays when she had bad reactions and needed someone to sit with her. She made me promise not to tell until she was ready." I should have run to Jessica, hugged her, cried with her, asked how I could help. Instead, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Marcus. "Miss already. When can I see again?" Daniel saw my face change, saw me glance at my phone with an expression that must have betrayed everything. "Who is that?" he asked quietly. I could have lied. Could have said it was a friend. Could have bought time. But I was so tired, so hollowed out by my own choices. "I need to tell something," I said. And I did, right there, with Jessica sitting at our kitchen table, fighting for her. I confessed to my affair. Every detail, every lie, every time I'd chosen Marcus over my marriage while my husband was being a good man. A better man than I deserved, taking care of my family. Daniel didn't yell. That would have been better. He just stood, picked his keys and said, "I'll be at my brother's, don't call me." He left. Jessica looked at me with something worse than anger. Disappointment so profound it felt like being flayed alive. "All this time," she said softly, who was so worried about how'd handled the news about me. He kept saying been stressed and he didn't want to add to burden. She laughed, bitter and broken. Guess had other things on mind. She left too. I stood in my kitchen, our kitchen. The one where we'd had breakfast as a family that morning. And felt the weight of what I'd done crash over me like a building collapse. That was 8 weeks ago. Daniel filed for divorce 3 days later. Emma heard us fighting when I tried to beg him to reconsider. She's barely spoken to me since. She stays with Daniel at his brother's place most nights now, and when she is home, she locks herself in her room. My family knows, all of them. Jessica told them. I don't blame her. Why should she protect me? My mother won't return my calls. My father sent me one text, broke that man's heart. He loved, past tense. The gym fired Marcus after I stopped showing and someone put 2 and 2 together. He's blocked me on everything. Turns out I was just a thing to him. A middle-aged woman having a crisis who made him feel powerful. I have no one now. No husband who drove my dying cousin to chemo while I was busy destroying our marriage. No daughter who looks at me with anything but disgust. No family who wants to hear my excuses. Just me, sitting in this house that's about to be sold, scrolling through old photos of I torched because I was bored and selfish, and to recognize love when it was folding my laundry at midnight after driving 2 hours round trip to help someone in pain. Jessica finished her treatment last week. She's in remission. Daniel was there for her celebration dinner. I wasn't invited. I keep thinking about that moment in the kitchen when my phone buzzed. How if I just ignored it? Maybe I could have had one more day of pretending I was a good person. But that's the thing about consequences. They don't wait for convenient timing. They just come, and they don't leave. The lawyer's office smells like leather and judgment. Daniel's attorney is a woman named Patricia who looks at me like I'm something stuck to her shoe. My attorney, some guy I found online who gave me a sympathetic to difficult cases discount, keeps telling me to stay calm and don't volunteer information. Too late for that. I volunteered everything when I confessed in my kitchen 2 months ago. Daniel sits across the table from me, and I barely recognize him. He's lost weight. There are lines around his eyes that weren't there before. He won't look at me. Not once during this entire mediation has he made eye contact. Mrs. Chen is requesting custody. My lawyer says, shuffling papers. Patricia doesn't even pause. My client is requesting primary physical custody with supervised visitation for Mrs. Chen until such time as Emma feels comfortable with extended visits. The words hit like a supervised, like I'm dangerous. That's not fair, I hear say. My voice sounds thin. Desperate. She's my daughter. Daniel finally looks at me. His eyes are empty. No, what's not fair, Rachel? Emma finding text messages to him. The ones forgot to delete from the iPad she uses for homework. My stomach drops into my feet. What? She saw everything. His voice is perfectly level, which makes it worse. The pictures sent, the things said about me, about how bored we're. She's 9 years old and she had to read her mother talking about how her marriage felt like a prison. I'm going to be sick. Right here, right now. Daniel, I didn't know she could. She asked me what off-air meant. He cuts me off. Heard, and now there's emotion in his voice. Raw jag pain. She asked me if ever loved us. What was I supposed to tell her? I have no answer. My lawyer is writing something, staying carefully neutral. Patricia looks satisfied. Emma has requested to speak to the judge privately. Patricia continues. She's old enough in this state to express a custodial preference. No. The word tears out of me. Please, I need to talk to her. I need to explain. Explain what? Daniel's voice rises for the first time. Explain why lied to us every day for 2 months. Explain why we're with him while I was holding Jessica's hand through chemo. She heard that part too, Rachel. She knows what we're doing while I was trying to keep family together. The room is spinning. I grip the edge of the table. I made a mistake, I whisper. I know I did. But she's my daughter. Can't take her from me? Took from her? Daniel says quietly. I'm just making it official. The hearing is scheduled for 3 weeks from now. I spend those weeks in a special kind of. Emma refuses to see me. Daniel's brother Brad drops off some of her things she wanted from the house. Stuffed animals, books, her favorite blanket. Not much, like she's already moved on from this place. From me, Brad won't come inside. He hands me the bag on the porch and I can see the disgust on his face. She cries every night, he says. She thinks it's her fault somehow. That she wasn't good enough to make want to stay. That's not. I start, but he's already walking away. I call my mother again and again. On the 6th try she answers, Mom, please, I need someone to talk to. I'm falling apart. There's a long silence. Then, should have thought about that before. Betrayed family. I know I was wrong, I know. But I'm still daughter. And Emma is still my granddaughter. That little girl is destroyed. Do understand that? She has nightmares. She thinks all love is now because her mother taught her it is. My mother's voice breaks and I realize she's crying. I raised better than this, she says. I don't know who her anymore. She hangs. I sit on my porch, soon to be someone else's porch, and watch neighbors walk by without waving. The word spread fast in our suburb. Carrie next door used to bring over cookies. Now she crosses the street when she sees me getting the mail. Linda from the PTA sent one text after she heard, I can't believe we trusted around our families. I've been removed from every group chat, every committee, every soccer mom network I spent years building. My boss called me into her office last week. The small marketing firm where I worked part-time decided they were restructuring. My position was eliminated. I know it's because her husband and Daniel golf together. I could probably but I don't have the energy or the money for another lawyer. I apply to 3 jobs. One calls back and asks if I'm the Rachel Chen from the news. There was a news article, just a small local piece about the divorce, but someone leaked the details. Local woman's affair exposed while husband cared for sick relative. Read the headline. They didn't use my full name, but everyone knew. The comments online were brutal. People I've never met calling me every name imaginable, saying I deserve to lose everything, saying Emma was better off without me. They weren't wrong. Jessica calls me on a Thursday. I almost don't answer. I need to say something to, she says when I pick. Her voice is stronger now. Post-treatment, her. And then I don't want to hear from again. Okay, I whisper. I'm alive because of Daniel. Do understand that? There were nights during chemo when I wanted to give. When the pain was so bad I didn't think I could do another round. And he sat there with me. Every time he brought me books and magazines. He held my hand when he made jokes to make me laugh when I felt like dying. She pauses, and I hear her breathe. I asked him once why he was doing so much. Why he didn't just drive me there and leave. Why he stayed through everything. Know what he said? I can't speak. He said, Rachel would never forgive me if I let go through this alone. Family takes care of family. He was doing it for every single drive, every single night away from his home. He was doing it because he loved and he knew one cousin taken care of. I'm crying now and loud. and we're with someone else. Jessica says, and her voice hardens. We're betraying him while he was being the man should have appreciated. I have to live with knowing that my illness was the reason had the opportunity to destroy him. That makes me complicit somehow even though I didn't know. Jessica, or not, I'm not done. She cuts me off. Emma called me last week. She wanted to know if I hated her because of her mom. A 9-year-old child asking if she's guilty by association. I told her she's perfect and none of this is her fault, but I could hear in her voice she doesn't believe it. Did that to her. Made her question if she's worth loving. The line goes quiet for a moment. I hope it was worth it. Jessica says finally. I hope those 6 weeks with a stranger were worth losing everyone who actually loved. Because we did love Rachel, all of us. And us away like we meant nothing. She hangs. I sit on my bedroom floor. The bedroom I shared with Daniel for 11 years. And I scream into a pillow until my throat is raw. The court hearing arrives like in date. Emma is there with Daniel. She's wearing a blue dress I bought her for her birthday last year. She loved that dress. Spun around in it in the store until she got dizzy. Now she's wearing it to tell a judge she doesn't want to live with me. She still won't look at me. The judge is an older woman with kind eyes that turn cold when she reads through the case file. She asks Emma if she wants to speak to her privately. Emma nods. They're gone for 20 minutes. When they come back, Emma's eyes are red but her jaw is set. She looks like Daniel when he's made a decision. The judge delivers her ruling. Primary custody to Daniel. I get 1 supervised visit per month. 4 hours. At a neutral location with a social worker present. 4 hours a month with my daughter. The judge looks at me directly. Mrs. Chen, I've read the statements. I've spoken to daughter. She's old enough to understand betrayal. And she's not ready to trust again. That might change. It might not. But for now, her emotional well-being is my priority. Not parental rights. I want to argue. To beg to explain that I'm not a monster. Just someone who made a horrible mistake. But Emma is looking at me now. Finally, and the expression on her face stops every word in my throat. It's not, would be better. It's indifference. Like I'm already a stranger. Like she's already mourning me and moved on. We leave the courthouse separately. Daniel and Emma walk to his car together. He puts his hand on her shoulder, protective, and she leans into him. They look like a unit. A family. I'm not part of it anymore. I drive home in silence. The house is empty. It's been empty for weeks but now it feels like a tomb. I walk through rooms full of ghosts. Emma's height marks on the doorframe we were supposed to keep measuring until she grew. The kitchen where we made pancakes every Sunday morning. The living room where we watched movies as a family. Emma wedged between us on the couch. All gone. All ruined. I did this. Not some villain. Not bad luck. Not circumstance. Me. My phone buzzes. A text from the realtor. Someone made an offer on the house. Below asking but it's the only offer we've had. Do I want to accept? I text back yes. There's nothing left to hold on to here anyway. The apartment is small. 1 bedroom in a complex 40 minutes from my old neighborhood. Far enough that I don't run into people I know. Close enough that I'm still in the same county as Emma, for whatever that's worth. It's been 4 months since the divorce was finalized. 5 months since I've had a real conversation with my daughter. The supervised visits are worse than not seeing her at all. We meet at a family center that smells like disinfectant and defeat. There are toys for younger kids, some board games, uncomfortable chairs. A social worker named Beth sits in the corner with a clipboard, writing notes about our interaction. Emma brings homework. Or a book. Something to look at that isn't me. Last visit I tried to ask about school. She gave 1-word answers. I asked about her friends. She shrugged. I asked if she needed anything. Dad gets me what I need, she said. Not mean, just factual. 4 hours of sitting 3 feet from my daughter while she treats me like a stranger she's obligated to tolerate. Beth wrote something on her clipboard. I don't want to know what. The visit before that, I brought her favorite cookies. Chocolate chip with sea salt, the ones from the bakery we used to go to together. She didn't touch them. I don't really like those anymore, she said quietly. I don't know if that's true or if she just can't bear to accept anything from me. Both options destroy me equally. I got a new job. Data entry for an insurance company. It's mind-numbing work in a gray office where no one knows who I am or what I did. I'm grateful for the anonymity even as it suffocates me. Lunch breaks I spend in my car. Can't risk the break room small talk. Can't risk someone Googling me and finding that article, or the Reddit post that somehow got picked by local Facebook groups. There are screenshots of texts I sent Marcus that got leaked. I don't know how. Maybe he shared them with someone who shared them with everyone. Daniel is so boring. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in routine. I need this. I need to feel alive again. It's just physical. It doesn't mean anything. Reading my own words, seeing how they spread across the internet is like watching commit in slow motion. Every comment section another witness to my destruction. They're not wrong to me, me too. I tried therapy. Lasted 3 sessions. The therapist, a soft-spoken woman named Dr. Morrison, kept trying to explore my childhood, my relationship with my parents, whether I had undiagnosed depression or anxiety. What did was a symptom, she said. Let's find the root cause. But I didn't want root causes, I wanted someone to tell me how to undo it. How to rewind time. How to be the person who came home that Tuesday and found Daniel with Jessica and immediately felt grateful instead of guilty. How to not be the villain in my own. Need to forgive, Dr. Morrison said in our last session. I walked out. I don't deserve forgiveness. Not from anyone. Daniel is seeing someone. I found out through Emma. She mentioned Dad's friend Claire. During one of our supervised visits. Mentioned how Claire makes good spaghetti. How she's nice. How she doesn't try too hard. That last part felt pointed. Even though Emma probably didn't mean it that way. I looked Claire online later. Couldn't help, she's a nurse. Divorced, no kids. Pretty in a natural way with kind eyes and a genuine smile in her photos. She looks like someone who doesn't destroy the people who love her. I spent an hour staring at her Facebook page, torturing with pictures of her at a hiking trail, at a coffee shop at a charity 5K, normal healthy, good person activities. Then I saw a recent photo. Daniel in the background at what looked like a cookout. Casual. Comfortable. He was smiling. I haven't seen him smile in so long I'd forgotten what it looked like. I closed the laptop and cried until my mother agreed to meet me for coffee. 6 months after everything fell apart, she finally said yes to seeing me. We met at a chain cafe in a mall. Neutral territory. She looked older, tired. She ordered tea and sat across from me like we were strangers. "How's Emma?" I asked, because I can't ask her directly. She doesn't take my calls. "She's doing better," Mom said carefully. "She started seeing a child therapist. Daniel's insurance covers it." "Of course it does. Daniel thinks of everything. Always did." "Does she?" I couldn't finish the question. "Talk about," Mom finished. "Sometimes she's angry, confused. She asks why I didn't love her enough to stay faithful to her father." The words landed like bullets. I do love her. I love her more than anything. My mother's expression hardened. Then should have acted like it. We sat in silence. I watched her stir her tea around and around, never drinking it. "Jessica's cancer might come back," she said finally. "Her doctor said the next 2 years are critical. If it returns, the prognosis isn't good." My chest tightened. I didn't know. Why would she doesn't want to talk to? None of us do, really. I'm only here because Father said I'd regret it if I didn't give one chance to explain by. "What do you want me to say?" "I want to tell me why." She looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw the mother who used to braid my hair and read me bedtime stories. Had everything. A good man who loved, a beautiful daughter, a family who adored. Why wasn't it enough? I've asked that question 10,000 times. In the middle of the night when sleep won't come, in the shower when I break down, in my car in parking lots, gripping the steering wheel until my hands ache. "I don't know," I whispered. "I think I forgot to appreciate what I had until it was gone." I took Daniel for granted. I felt invisible, and instead of talking to him about it, I looked for validation somewhere else. And by the time I realized what I was risking, I'd already lost it all. "That's not an explanation," Mom said. "That's just excuses." She wasn't wrong. "I was selfish," I said. "I was bored and selfish, and I thought I deserved something exciting. I didn't think about anyone but, not Daniel, not Emma, not even Jessica, who was literally fighting for her while I was throwing away mine." My mother stood. Her tea sat untouched on the table. "I hope someday Emma can forgive," she said, "because I don't think I can." She left. I sat there alone for 2 hours watching people come and go. Mothers with their daughters, laughing over lats. Couples holding hands across tables. People living normal lives, making normal mistakes, not catastrophic ones. I used to be one of them. Now I'm the cautionary tale they tell each other. Last week was Emma's 10th birthday. I wasn't invited to the party. Daniel sent me a formal email through his lawyer informing me of the date and time, noting that Emma had requested I not attend. I sent a present, a necklace with her birthstone, included a card that I rewrote 17 times before I found words that didn't sound empty or desperate. "Happy birthday, sweetheart. I love more than words can say. I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you'll let me show how much mean to me. Love always, Mom." It came back and opened 3 days later. "Return to sender," written on the package in Daniel's handwriting. I keep it on my kitchen counter, still wrapped, a monument to rejection. Beth, the social worker, pulled me aside after our last supervised visit. "Mrs. Chen, I need to be honest with," she said. Her voice was gentle, which somehow made it worse. "Emma's therapist has recommended we extend the supervised visitation period indefinitely. She's not making progress toward wanting unsupervised contact with Pao." "What does that mean?" "It means she's not ready, and we can't force her. She's old enough that the court will listen to her preferences, and right now." Beth trailed off. "She doesn't want to see me at all." I finished. Beth didn't deny it. "Is there any chance?" I couldn't finish. Couldn't ask if my daughter would ever forgive me. Couldn't bear to hear the answer. "There's always a chance," Beth said carefully. "But need to understand that the damage done here was severe. Emma didn't just lose her family structure. She lost her sense of security, her ability to trust. She's rebuilding those things with her father and his support system." She paused. "The person who shattered it all. That's how she sees now." "I know." Beth looked at me with something like pity. "Because keep trying to explain during visits. Keep trying to make her understand why did what did. But she doesn't want explanations. She's 10 years old. She just wants her mom to not have betrayed her dad. So what am I supposed to do? Give her space. Let her heal. And accept that might not get the ending want. I've started writing letters to Emma that I'll never send. Just filling notebooks with everything I want to tell her. How sorry I am. How much I love her. How I could go back and make different choices. How I think about her every single day, wondering if she's happy, if she feels safe, if she knows she didn't do anything wrong. How I hope she grows to be nothing like me." The notebooks pile on my closet shelf, evidence of a relationship that exists only in my head now. Yesterday I drove past our old house. The new owners have painted the shutters blue. There's a swing set in the backyard that wasn't there before. Kids' bikes on the driveway. A family lives there now. A real one, probably. One where the mother doesn't everyone's lives because she needed attention from a stranger. I sat in my car 3 houses down and watched lights turn on as evening came. Imagine dinner being made in my old kitchen, homework at my old table, bedtime stories in Emma's old room, a whole happening in the space where mine used to be. Someone knocked on my window. A concerned neighbor asking if I was okay if I needed help. "I'm fine," I lied. "Just leaving." I drove back to my apartment and sat in the dark. The hardest part isn't the loneliness, though that's crushing. It isn't the public shame though that follows me everywhere. It isn't even losing Daniel though I think about him constantly and wonder if he's happy now, if Claire makes him laugh, if he's finally healing. The hardest part is knowing I did this too. No one forced me to kiss Marcus. No one held it to my head and made me lie. No one else is responsible for the choice I made every single day for 6 weeks to betray the people who loved me. I did that. I looked at my beautiful, imperfect, normal, and decided it wasn't enough. And now I have nothing. No husband, no daughter, no family, no friends, no community. Just a 1-bedroom apartment and a job that pays enough to survive but not enough to feel alive. And 4 hours a month with a child who can't stand to look at me. I thought I was choosing excitement, passion, freedom from routine. I was actually choosing this emptiness, this isolation, this permanent state of grief for I destroyed with my own hands. There's a dating app on my phone that I downloaded and deleted 3 times. Keep thinking maybe if I meet someone. Maybe if I start over somewhere new. Maybe if I just move forward. But I can't. Because moving forward means accepting that Emma might never be in my again. That I might miss her graduation, her first heartbreak, her wedding, her children. All because I was too selfish and to appreciate what I had when I had it. So I stay here, in this apartment. In this half-working a job spending weekends alone, counting down days until the next supervised visit where my daughter will sit across from me and stare at her homework, while a stranger takes notes on how thoroughly I've failed at being her mother. This is my now. This is what I chose. Even though I didn't know I was choosing it. Last night I dreamed about that Tuesday in the kitchen. In the dream my phone doesn't buzz. I hug Jessica. I cry with her. I ask Daniel what I can do to help. And when everyone leaves, I delete Marcus's number and never look back. In the dream I make the right choice. I woke and it took me 10 minutes to remember that didn't happen. That in reality, I made every wrong choice possible and now I'm paying for it. We'll pay for it forever. People ask sometimes, acquaintances who don't know better, coworkers making small talk, if I have kids. I used to say yes. Would pull out my phone and show pictures of Emma that are years old now. Would talk about her like she was still mine. Now I say, it's complicated. Because how to explain that have a daughter who legally has to see once a month but wishes she didn't? How to explain that or mother who destroyed her child's sense of safety, because wanted to feel desired for 6 weeks? Don't. Just say it's complicated, and change the subject and go home to empty apartment where no one is waiting. Where no one will ever wait again. Jessica is in remission but has to get scans every 3 months. I know this because I still follow her on social media even though she blocked me everywhere else. Her posts are public. Daniel goes with her to every appointment. I see him in the background of photos she posts from the clinic. Still there, still showing, still being the man I was too blind to value. Emma is in one of the photos holding a "Chancer sucks" sign and smiling at the camera. She looks happy, healthy, safe. She looks like a kid who's healing. Without me. I know how this sounds. Like I'm wallowing. Like I want sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I want to warn someone. If we're reading this and are thinking about making the choice I made. If we're bored in marriage. If someone is giving attention that feels intoxicating. If think deserve more excitement or passion or whatever lie you're telling, please stop. Stop and look at what have. Really look at it. Because I promise it's more than think. It's everything actually. Hurt and won't know that until it's gone and are sitting alone in an apartment that echoes with silence, holding a birthday present child sent back unopened. Wondering how became the monster in own story. I thought I was just having a moment of weakness. A mistake I could fix. A secret that wouldn't anyone if they didn't know. I was wrong. Secrets come out. Lies unravel. And the people don't have to forgive just because they're sorry. They don't have to forgive at all. Next week is another supervised visit. I'll sit across from Emma in that sterile room. She'll do her homework or read her book. Beth will take notes. And I'll try not to cry when the 4 hours are and my daughter leaves without hugging me goodbye. This is my now. This is my forever. I had everything. A man who loved me enough to spend his nights caring for my dying family member. A daughter who thought I hung the moon. That was beautiful in its ordinary everyday way. And I traded it all for 6 weeks with someone whose last name I can barely remember. The worst part, I can't even say I didn't know what I was doing. I knew. I knew every time I lied. Every time I snuck out. Every time I chose him over them. I knew, and I did it anyway. And now I know something else. Some mistakes don't get fixed. Some damage doesn't heal. Some losses are permanent. I thought I could have it all. Turns out I ended with nothing. And that's exactly what I deserve.